Hi there, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn and I pulled us a daily card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And the card that came out is the Maiden. So with this card, what Spirit is saying is you're entering something you've not experienced before. So just let yourself explore, but don't confuse the excitement with wisdom, okay? The maiden has openness about her. She sees possibility everywhere. She wants to experience life rather than stand on the sidelines analyzing it. She can feel drawn towards something just because it fascinates her. So for this is a general reading, so it could be a few different things for you. It could be a new relationship, a new person, a new opportunity, a new spiritual path, a creative idea. It could be a change in identity, an unfamiliar experience, something you've secretly wanted to try, or even a part of yourself you've kept suppressed, okay? There's almost a magnetic quality to this archetype. So what the maiden is saying is something is calling your curiosity. This card is more about new beginnings and innocence. It represents the part of you that is standing at the threshold of something new. Okay? You're curious, you're attracted to something, you're excited about something, you're vulnerable, but you're not fully aware of what the experience will teach you. This card, the Maiden, represents the beginning of that developmental journey. The possibility, discovery, sensuality, experimentation, and all the lessons that come from entering an unfamiliar territory. Something new is starting, a new chapter is starting. Okay? So Spirit is telling you to go explore, but understand that exploration comes with consequences, lessons, and transformation. The maiden is described as youthful, curious, and full of possibility, but also inexperienced. So that means she's susceptible to being captivated by things before fully understanding them. The maiden is about becoming. One of the most important things about this card is that the maiden isn't supposed to have everything figured out. She's learning. She's discovering who she is by encountering the world. So when this card comes out, you could be at a point where you're asking yourself, like, who am I now? Okay? Maybe the person you used to be no longer fits. And that's coming up in my readings a lot lately. You've spent years being what other people expected you to be, responsible or accommodating or predictable, careful, dutiful. But now there's another part of you that's speaking up and it's saying, but what do I want? That's the energy of the maiden. You're asking yourself, what do you want now? You're not rebelling against everyone else. You're just discovering yourself. And sometimes discovering yourself means discovering that certain things you were taught to want aren't actually what you want anymore. And if you look at the shadow side of this card, she kind of represents, you can see like it's pink and white and orange, but this is the forest, the pictures here, the trees, and this is the night sky. Looks like it's raining or there's stars, but what the shadow side of this card represents is you see the dark forest and you want to know what's inside of it. So what that means is you're attracted to things that are mysterious or forbidden or complicated or maybe even dangerous. You're being drawn toward a shadowy forest, the dark night, and the poisonous fruit. The underlying theme with the shadow side is curiosity meeting temptation. Maybe you've been asking yourself, why are you so drawn to something? It's because something about it awakens a part of you that wants to experience and discover and feel. But then there's another question. Is this attraction leading you toward growth, or are you being seduced by something that will teach you a painful lesson? Imagine seeing something beautiful. You know you probably shouldn't touch it, but you're fascinated. You're wondering, what if you went there? What if you touched it? That's the maiden energy. Sometimes you learn because someone gives you wisdom. Sometimes you learn because you make the mistake yourself. The maiden represents the second kind of learning. You know, we're human, we make mistakes, but what this card is saying is you learned because you made the mistake yourself. And that's why the card can indicate an experience that initially looks exciting, but ultimately becomes a lesson in discernment. Not necessarily a catastrophe or not necessarily something terrible. Just, you know now. Now you know. And that knowledge changes you. With regards to your relationships or love, this card can indicate a new romantic energy, attraction, curiosity, flirtation, a sexual awakening, or feeling captivated by someone. There can be an intoxicating quality to this card. You may feel excited or nervous, curious, emotionally stimulated, sexually attracted, fascinated, hopeful, vulnerable, or almost addicted to the feeling of possibility. The maiden is asking you to distinguish between chemistry and compatibility. They're not the same thing, okay? You can be incredibly attracted to someone who isn't actually good for you. And you can become fascinated by someone because they awaken something inside you, not necessarily because they're meant to stay in your life. That's a major maiden lesson. Don't mistake intensity for destiny. The maiden isn't purely innocent, she's sensual. She's becoming aware of her own body, desires, attraction, and power. This This doesn't have to be sexual in a literal sense. It can mean becoming more connected to what feels good to you, okay? Instead of thinking, what does everybody else want from you? What feels good for you, to you? The maiden wants you to experience life through the senses. She wants to taste, touch, explore, create, laugh, play, fall in love. Try something different. It can be an invitation to reconnect with pleasure and aliveness, but don't stay in that energy forever, okay? Because the maiden eventually has to grow up. This archetype is standing at the beginning of a developmental journey. She has tremendous potential, but she doesn't yet have all the experience necessary to understand every situation she encounters. So if this card is describing you, then the message isn't remain innocent. It's allow yourself to experience life and then allow those experiences to mature you. You don't want to become cynical. You don't want to lose your curiosity. That keeps you young. You don't want to become so afraid of being hurt that you stop living. But you also don't want to continually repeat the same lessons because you're addicted to the excitement of being the maiden. At some point, experience needs to become wisdom. So if this card is describing where you are right now, what Spirit is saying is you're at the beginning of a personal transformation where you're rediscovering curiosity, desire, and possibility. Something is pulling you outside of your familiar comfort zone. You're being invited to explore, but you're also being warned to use discernment. Don't surrender your judgment just because something feels exciting. Let the experience teach you, but don't let temptation make your decisions for you. Maybe there's been something you've been thinking about that you haven't fully admitted to yourself. What the maiden is saying is to be honest about what you're curious about, then ask yourself, why are you curious? What will this experience teach you? You're not finished becoming who you are. There's still a part of you that wants to explore. There are things you haven't experienced yet. There are parts of yourself you haven't discovered. There may even be desires, dreams, or possibilities you've pushed aside because you've been taught to be practical or responsible or careful. But the maiden is telling you to don't kill that part of yourself, but don't blindly follow it either. Just take her hand, walk into the forest, look around, explore, but remember to bring your discernment with you, okay? Because the purpose of the maiden isn't to remain innocent forever. It's to enter the unknown, experience life, and then emerge wiser. So something new is awakening your curiosity and desire to experience life differently. Explore it, but don't let your excitement override your intuition or your judgment. What you're entering may ultimately teach you something important about who you're becoming. You don't have to know exactly where you're going yet. You just need to be willing to discover who you're becoming along the way. So explore what excites you, but don't forget to use discernment, because this new experience is teaching you who you're becoming. It's a really exciting time. So that is our message for today. Thank you so much for letting me channel this message. Let me know, drop me a heart emoji in the comments if it resonated at all. And I will see you next time. Take good care. Bye.